Hey everybody, welcome to Matt Men, your source for all things professional wrestling. I'm Andrew Zarin. Of course, I'm joined by my night writer, Rich Stambolian.
Oh, yeah. I love that show. I have nothing for that because I effing love Knight Rider. And I watched it's funny that you mentioned that. I watched a video the other day of a dude who spent $50,000 recreating the perfect kit replica.
Wow.
Down to like the voice. It's like voice activated and he talks back to you.
You know, our version in Queens of the Knight Rider is just getting a black IROC Z.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, for people who don't realize what a symbol of excellence an IROC Z in Queens, New York is, you're missing out here. Guys, I want to thank everybody over the last couple of weeks that have been tuning in. A tremendous amount of new people finding the podcast over. We've been doing it for 5 years. And a ton of people coming in, new people, new eyeballs. We had a great time over the weekend tweeting with all of you. A lot of stuff broke out, obviously. A lot of breaking news, which we got to talk about. There's AEW news. There's WWE news. There's SmackDown news. There's NXT. I mean, so much going on. But we did have a lot of technical difficulties over the weekend and even on Monday. One of the key hardware pieces in our studio is our audio system is IP based. We're getting into what the tech now, but I want to kind of explain to people what's happening. A lot of people have asked. Our audio system is IP based, and one of the units is called a node. It's an audio node, so everything routes to that, and it tells everything to do a mix minus, so it doesn't echo, and it kind of levels everything out. It's just a distribution hub. That thing overheated and died. It's costing me $3,000. I kid you not, to get a new one. It's a very expensive piece of hardware. So I have to get it next week. If you guys want to help out with this in any way, you can fund us here on YouTube. If you're watching live, you can hit that dollar button and give us $1, $2, whatever you feel like doing. Or you go to Patreon, and this is the best way to do it. Go to patreon.com/MattMenPodcast, and you could join us there, and you get extra bonus content. Obviously, you give us a couple bucks every show that we do. It helps us out. It keeps us going. It pays Rich. It doesn't pay you. You make no money from me.
No.
Never. It just helps us going, you know, and it's a nice little way to kind of say, hey, we enjoy what you're doing with the Twitter and everything. So you can go to patreon.com/MattMenPodcast and fund us there. Listen, even if it's $1, it goes a very long way. Enough dollars equal 100, and 100 equals love. Here comes intern Deacon.
Is it just like Sia?
Can you just pop in the camera so people can see what you look like?
Oh, okay. I'm cool with that.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, thank you so much, intern Deacon.
Don't hit the camera.
Don't hit the camera, whatever you do. Deacon is here helping out
Where'd
tremendously.
You get that? Is that part of your cosplay?
He paid $50, by the way, for that stupid thing.
Are you going to KatsuCon?
No, I don't know what that is.
Are you one of the Forever Hooligans now?
No.
That's the thing.
Can you be Alex Kozlov?
All right, thank you, Deacon. So if you want to fund us and you want crazy, zany stuff from intern Deacon, you can do so by going to patreon.com/MattMenPodcast. So let's begin. I want to run through NXT very quickly. NXT was awesome. Very much enjoyed NXT. Rich and I were trying to do a show, and I got so sick on Friday.
Yeah.
During like 103 fever. Saturday I was dead. Sunday I felt better. Rich and I attempted to do a show, and it just didn't happen.
Well, Sunday we did the morning show.
Yeah, but it fell apart because...
Did you save it?
I did.
Did you put it out there?
But it's like terrible. No, I didn't put it out there. It's inaudible.
I feel like that would have been a great Patreon exclusive to have the terrible episode where I'm in my house and you're here and we're trying to figure stuff out.
It was so frustrating, dude.
Can you send it to me? Because I would like to see that.
Yeah. So let's talk about Royal Rumble. Very long Royal Rumble. It was 7 hours with the pre-show. Started at 5, ended at midnight.
I didn't even know it started that early. Do you want to go through quickly the NXT card?
We did already, didn't we? Okay, let's go through it.
For the people that didn't see the fail, War Raiders versus Undisputed Era.
Great match.
Awesome match.
Yeah.
War Raiders took the tag team championships. Yo, Hanson is the best. And you know how I described, my wife was kind of watching with me, and she was like, "Oh, what are their names?" I was like, "Hanson is the flippy guy with the bigger beard, and Rowe is the other guy with the shorter beard." It's a good match, man. Don't talk to anybody today.
I'm not.
Don't. I don't care who's messaging you.
I'm not.
Unless it's a matter of life or death. Don't talk to anybody. Matt Riddle versus Cassius Ohno. Great match, 9 minutes.
Very quick.
Cassius.
Casio.
Really, really fun. Gargano versus Ricochet, I would say that was my match of the night.
Okay.
23 minutes.
That's really?
Yeah.
It was 23 minutes.
23 minutes.
That was a phenomenal match.
They love. I'm
By
glad.
the way, 4.75 star rating.
I'm so glad that they let Gargano go long. They've always let him go long.
Yeah, well, he's unbelievable.
Johnny Wrestling.
Yeah, he's unbelievable.
Now here's where a little bit of the controversy happened between fans and the booking and people within the wrestling community and outside of the wrestling community. Shayna Baszler defeated Bianca Belair in a 15-minute singles match by technical submission.
Yeah, so I was not a fan. I'm not a fan of Bianca Belair yet.
Okay.
I know why they had to do the match. I know that they really didn't have anybody built up for Shayna yet. This was a filler just so they could have the women's title on there. Mm-hmm. I think Shayna Baszler is getting better and better every time.
Yes.
They kind of involved the 4 horsewomen, so it kind of builds into something with that. It was just a step to whatever the end result is.
Yeah, and I think this was also a showcase for Bianca Belair because she's exactly what they want.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
An athlete that they mold and create.
Exactly. Yeah. The one thing that I have a problem with is, and I know Sam Roberts went on a berserk rampage. It's not berserk, but he went on a little bit of a tirade about her. And also speaking of Sam Roberts, there's a meme going around that people are calling him Doink Ambrose.
Oh my God.
If you guys could look up Doink Ambrose on social media, I think he's
Can I look this up right now?
Yeah,
I gotta see this.
Where he kind of looks like if Doink the Clown and Dean Ambrose had a kid, which I think is hysterical. But I hope he embraces.
Oh my God,
it's funny, guys. Yeah. Google Doink Ambrose and Sam Roberts, and it'll come. Anyway, so he went on a kind of a rant about it. But my whole thing with Bianca Belair is like she's great. She hits all the points, but I think it's like she's doing it as far as taking stage direction.
Yeah,
and she's nailing her parts like as if she was like a rockette or a dancer, instead of feeling it. Shayna, she's believable.
She is.
And I feel like when you have that clash of styles, this was kind of a miss for me.
I'm not crazy about that hair flip. I hope someone just grabs a scissor and chops it off.
I think that's going to be the end result.
Oh my God, that'll be a great end result.
Yeah. You know who's going to do it?
Who?
Ronda Rousey.
Ronda Rousey? Yeah. And then she's going to just wear it and upset everybody even more?
If Becky cut her hair and
people love it,
wrapped it around her hand
and just beat her with it?
Like a Muay Thai type thing. That would be great.
The hair whip sucks. I'm not a fan of it.
But I mean, like, if that's her real hair, that's awesome.
I do not think that's her real hair.
I always like super long hair, just because it's not like a thing, but you never see super long hair anymore.
Super long hair.
Yeah. And the main event, Ciampa versus Aleister Black, 26 minutes.
Very good match.
Very good match.
Yeah. It just they couldn't do what Ricochet and Johnny Gargano did. Mm-hmm. They couldn't do that. But it was a very good match. The ending was phenomenal with Ciampa and Gargano holding the title up with the music on the ramp. I thought that was phenomenal. Now, by the way, very short show. 2.5 hours?
So good, yeah.
Right? Under 3 hours. Easy, breezy, done.
Mm-hmm.
Now we go into the next day. I think it was the longest WWE show ever.
Mm-hmm.
This Royal Rumble.
Do you think so?
7 hours, yeah.
Did you watch the whole thing?
I watched the whole thing beginning to end. Top to bottom. Did not miss anything.
Okay.
Man, it was long. It was not a bad show. It was just a long show with too many matches.
Okay. What would you rate the Rumble?
A B+.
Okay.
Because I enjoy the Rumble. Like, I enjoyed the show. I can't say I didn't enjoy the show. Yeah. Just at the very end, man, I'm just sitting, I'm like, I just kind of want it to end. I want to go to bed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, after a couple of beers, you're getting sleepy at midnight. Sure.
We stayed up so late. It was my boy's birthday. And we all got together. We watched it. Had some food. And then my wife and I stayed up till like 1 a.m. for no reason, like after it. It was fun, man. It was a good event. I'll go B+.
Okay.
And also like not to say I called Hideo Itami leaving the company, but before my buddy came over for his birthday, I had it on the pre-show And I'm watching it with my wife, and I was like, yo, he's looking
thick.
He's looking Japan heavyweight.
Yeah.
Like, he's looking thick. I bet you he's going back. And then, like, 3 days later, man, like, this dude, they announced that he's, and I think that's more legitimate.
So let's go through this. Bobby Roode, Chad Gable, Scott Dawson, and Razor. I think this was a useless concept. They did not need to add this match, okay? And this is the problem. You're giving 2 hours of a pre-show.
Yeah.
For what reason, I don't know. I don't know what reason you're doing a 2-hour pre-show.
Yeah. Well, they want to get everybody on the card, right?
I get it. But
6 minutes, though.
You could put them in the Rumble.
Okay.
They're all on the card anyway. So it was 6.5 minutes quick. Shinsuke Nakamura defeated Rusev for the United States Championship.
10 minutes.
10-minute match. Buddy Murphy. This was a 4-star match, by the way. Dave Meltzer gave this start.
Yeah.
This
I got to
match
rewatch
4 stars.
this.
Buddy Murphy defeated Akira Tozawa, Hideo Itami, and Kalisto. Very good fatal 4-way for the WWE Cruiserweight Championship. 12 minutes, 5 seconds.
I thought it was longer.
It felt longer, but I think it's like the other matches were so short.
Yeah.
It just felt longer with that. Now you get into the pay-per-view. Asuka defeated Becky Lynch by submission.
Loved it.
17 minutes.
Love that match.
I had a feeling this is the direction they're going in. I would honestly say if you're building Becky to be the person, right? And I don't think this is hurting her, but I don't think this would have I think this would have elevated her even more. I think she should have beat Asuka. I think she should have beat Asuka and won the title. And then entered in and won again.
Nah, too much.
I would have had her. But you know what? She's the ultimate champion.
I agree with that, but I think having Asuka on, because we know where this is going, right? Now that Becky challenges Ronda, Charlotte somehow gets in
involved,
that match, right? So that leaves Asuka open for somebody, a call-up maybe, somebody jumping from Raw, you know? Like
I don't Carmella, who's going to challenge for her?
Alexa Bliss?
Maybe Alexa Bliss. Okay, that's fine.
You know?
Very good match, 17 minutes, 10 seconds. They went into this. Shane and Miz defeated The Bar. I thought this was a fun match.
So great.
By the way, Shane looked exhausted.
His new I had to explain to my friend I think his new character is Dying Shane.
Dying Shane?
Where he gets so pushed to his limits that at the end of the match he needs to be held up by his waist because he's so tired.
He looked like a dad that just ran a marathon.
Yes.
They won the tag titles. They celebrated with Miz's father. I have no idea why.
This is so great.
Shane is acting like this is the greatest accomplishment in Miz's life.
Miz's dad is on like all the reality shows that they do.
Is he? Okay.
Yeah. So I think they wanted to work him in and be like, oh, this guy can be on camera, you know?
So following this, you had Sasha Banks and Ronda Rousey. I thought this was a very good match. Went 13 minutes, 55 seconds.
Yeah.
The
boss.
You know, I have to tell you, Ronda is very good in the ring. You give her time. Yeah. You give her time to get the moves down and everything. You practice with her. She's phenomenal. Now, on Raw, she had that match with Bayley, and it sucked.
Yeah.
Which we'll get to that.
Still not a fan of that Black Swan makeup.
Yeah. I thought it was better this time. This time was a lot better. Then, remember with the pink eye look?
Yeah. She looks... The thing with Ronda...
She had conjunctivitis going into that match.
Okay. The thing with Ronda... I think everybody will agree with, and it's the same thing with Brock Lesnar. It's like she looks
believable,
unbeatable, you know,
and that's great.
Yeah,
that's what you want. And then she opens her mouth, and things kind of fall apart. Wow. So now after this match, it was a very good match. You had the Women's Rumble. Becky Lynch won by eliminating Charlotte. She sold her freaking knee like crazy.
Oh, so good.
The story is that Lana got hurt when she fell off the apron in the pre-show. Yeah. And she couldn't make it out. And here comes Becky Lynch storming there, demanding to be put in. And she gets put in and wins. 1 hour, 12 minutes.
Great
for
comedy
this match.
bit.
Yeah, great comedy bit. I had fun watching this. I do think they kind of exposed that they don't have enough women to fill a Rumble.
Okay.
They did no legends, by the way.
They don't have to.
They didn't do a Trish Stratus. They didn't do a Lita. They didn't do a Tori. They didn't do Kelly, which instead this year they opted into showing debuting NXT women.
Fantastic.
I think it showed you how, and by the way, the women's WWE is doing the best women's wrestling right now that they've ever done, but it still shows you the lack of depth in the roster because nobody knew I'm saying like on Twitter, I was watching what people were writing. Nobody knew who half these people were.
You know what? Katie Catanzaro, I think people were like, who's that?
Who is she?
But she had a great. She had one of the better showings.
Nice showing, yeah. But I mean, she was green, fine, but she had a very nice. It was nice to see that they gave her time.
Lacey Evans, great showing.
First of all, that opening, those two, Lacey Evans and Natalia. Oh, Lacey Evans is terrible.
Do you think so?
Dude, she botched everything.
Probably nervous, man.
I think she's nervous, but I think she's also again great character.
Yeah.
Not ring ready. To be on that level. And obviously your nerves really... You saw what happened with Ronda, right? And Ronda's a pro.
Yeah.
Ronda talks. She does appearances and this and that. She's kind of used to being on the spotlight on her.
Sure.
And she crumbled on Raw.
Yeah.
Lacey Evans is not used to being in front of 45,000 people in the opening of a very important, vital match to lead you to your main event.
I do think they love her because she does have that it factor.
I do think there's something with her.
Yeah.
Natty, and if Natty can't get you through something, it's bad. She was very bad. I don't think those two should have started it.
Nikki Cross had a great showing.
Nikki Cross had
she
a
got
good
a nice
showing.
pop too.
Yeah, great pop.
Io Shirai, great showing.
Io Shirai had a great showing.
Kairi Sane, great showing.
Kairi Sane, great showing. I'm surprised there were no legends in there. I was very surprised.
You don't need him because I feel like the moment a Trish Stratus shows up, people automatically think like, "Yo, Trish Stratus versus Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania." You know.
It also says something. What happened with Trish and Lita in the company? Because the idea was that they were staying after that Evolution pay-per-view.
Who knows, man? Sometimes
something happened.
Sometimes things fall through, right?
Yeah.
And the next match, which I feel like this is like nobody could win after that elimination. Daniel Bryan versus AJ Styles.
They could have done the Mick Foley spot from Hell in a Cell.
Yes.
And it would have been nothing.
It wasn't like the crowd. The crowd was a little worn out, I think, because they really wanted. You got that Becky.
You got
winning.
the Becky spot. Yeah, it was a death. It was a death spot right there.
And these guys had a solid match that went 25 minutes.
25-minute match, solid match. The crowd was dead. The ending was bizarre. Luke Harper made his return
So good.
as an ally to the earth and to the environment, to Daniel Bryan, and choked AJ Styles, and Daniel Bryan got the pin, which that leads into SmackDown, which we'll talk about.
He came out in that awesome Tom Savini shirt. Too.
Yeah. He was wearing a Tom Savini shirt. Yeah. Just the nail in the coffin spot. The next match was my favorite match of the night, and it was Brock Lesnar and Finn Balor. It went 8 minutes, 40 seconds.
Great match.
The shortest match on the main card, the second shortest match across the board.
Absolutely.
They came out like fire. The story was that Finn Balor found the Giants' soft spot.
Yeah, which is flipping on him a bunch.
and kept hitting him in his diverticulitis gut.
Yeah.
He kept hitting him in his stomach, and that was kind of stunning Brock. And Brock was having fun in this match.
Yeah.
And Brock just catches him and makes him submit. He killed him.
I think that was a good ending.
Brock's face was amazing. Did you see that video I posted on Instagram?
So good.
I posted a video on our Instagram. If you guys want to die laughing, go to Instagram.com/MattMenPodcast. Follow us there. I posted this crazy video that someone sent me, and I was dying. I almost peed my pants. I thought this was the best match of the night. The most fun match of the night for me.
It was the most fun match of the night. It was such an awesome, quick 8 minutes where
quick match.
Finn got all his and like the aggression between both guys.
Yeah.
The interesting thing about Brock is like
it wasn't Harper, by the way. It was Rowan. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I said Harper. It was Rowan. I'm going to say it again. It was Rowan because now I'm going to get the messages on YouTube.
You were wrong.
After this, tell me I was wrong. It was Rowan.
The thing with Brock is like he could do whatever he wants with whoever he wants, and he can call the shots, right? Arguably the most paid guy in the company at this point. Just the fact that it seemed like he got so into that match, like when Brock sells for somebody, like really sells, I think it's unbelievable, because he's good. He's good at what he does. The fact that he turned purple, he was so close to getting beaten, and Finn had such a great showing. Where I do think he's going to be put in that title picture after WrestleMania.
Finn.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you're going to get the Seth moment.
He should be. There's no reason why he shouldn't be because it's a wasted space. I do think it was unnecessary to kill him afterwards with those F5s.
I think that was good, man.
Because he did it again to Seth after that.
Yeah.
Maybe that's his thing now.
I think
just murders you.
it shows that the Brock character has chinks in his armor. You know, where it's like, oh, how dare you almost beat me? Now I have to punish you.
Yeah. Now we're at the main event, the men's Royal Rumble. Went 57 minutes, 35 seconds. Actually, it went shorter than the women's Rumble. I do think what happened, they probably ran out of time at this point, and they really wanted to get off before midnight. Now, if you're looking at this card, Rich, what would you eliminate
from the Rumble card?
From the main card to shorten this? Honestly, I would have probably. It's actually not. I would have removed the Shane match.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I would have moved the Daniel Bryan AJ. I would have put the Nakamura Rusev match on the main card between Becky winning and the Brock Lesnar match. And then I would have put Daniel Bryan at the top of the show with AJ Styles.
You needed Becky to rest. That's the problem. That needed to open to be so she could have been in Rumble. I think that was a because of that weird thing, it kind of messed up the flow. I would have cut the women's Rumble down by about 8, maybe 10 minutes.
Okay.
I would have cut that by 10 minutes. I would have maybe eliminated the Miz Shane match and moved it to the pre-show.
No way, man. I disagree with that.
I would have had but it doesn't matter. People are still watching, right? It could have been the last match before the pre-show. And then you would have had maybe a little bit of a tighter show. I do think at this point we were all exhausted. Elias opens up the Rumble. Here comes Double J Jeff Jarrett. I lost my mind.
Yeah.
So he came out looking like an old grandpa.
Yes.
Okay. He has that old man walk. Same thing that Kurt Angle has in a little, just like an old man walk. Dude, let me tell you something about him. And Jeff Jarrett was on Monday also, which we'll talk about. Jeff Jarrett has the best freaking punches out of anybody in the WWE right now. Dude, this dude, you have to see his punches. You pay attention to his punch. The best freaking punch, the most believable punch.
Do you like Jeff Jarrett?
I don't.
Okay.
Actually, you know what? I have to tell you, he's a great wrestler. Fundamentally, one of the best.
Never connected with you.
He just never connected.
I think he's connecting more now.
Yeah, of course, because now he's a nostalgic. You know, it's like Honky Tonk Man. Who didn't Honky connect with anybody? No.
I never liked older Honky either.
He creeped me out. Creepy uncle. Jeff Jarrett comes out with Elias. They do a spot. I was so mad they didn't do With My Baby Tonight.
But you got that on Monday.
I did get it on Monday.
I lost my mind.
They redeemed themselves to us.
I am the biggest Road Dogg fan.
I know you love them.
As soon as my wife was going to sleep, and as soon as Road Dogg came out, I forgot completely about my spouse. I cranked the TV up, and she came out of the bedroom looking like a universal monster. Like I just woke her from like the crypt. And she was like, what the F are you doing? I was like, yo, it's Road Dogg. My excuse was not, I'm sorry, I'll lower it. I was like, it's Road Dogg.
Shut up.
What do you expect me to do?
So, dude, I'm telling you, all those Memphis guys,
Jerry
Lawler, all those Memphis guys can throw a freaking punch.
Yeah.
All of them.
Real punches.
They look so good. Jeff Jarrett, was he the only nostalgia act?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then, I mean, Kurt Angle came out also, but...
Yeah, Kurt doesn't count.
Kurt with his grandpa run. Poor man can't run.
That's all right.
He cannot turn his neck, dude.
It's almost like the Santino run.
It's amazing. He does all the moves perfectly, but he cannot move his neck.
Let me find the list of who was in the Rumble, and then
the eliminations.
Well, not so much the eliminations, but like who, like if we got any. Because some parts are like you got Jeff Jarrett, Nakamura, Big E. Gargano was a great surprise.
Gargano was a nice surprise, yeah.
Mustafa was a nice surprise.
He had a good showing.
Yeah. Pete Dunne, great surprise.
Pete Dunne, yeah.
Aleister Black, great show. All these guys had great showings. Mysterio. No, you didn't really have it. Ziggler showed up.
Yeah, terrible.
The Nia Jax surprise was good.
So here's what happened. Number 30, R-Truth comes out, and he gets singing. Because that's his thing, and he gets pummeled by Nia Jax. And Nia enters the men's Rumble.
So good.
Now, at this point, I'm like, what the fuck's going on? You know, like, okay, what are they going to do with her? She demolishes everybody, cleans house, beats up Randy Orton, eliminates Mustafa Ali, headbutts Rey Mysterio, clears the ring, all this stuff is going on, and Randy Orton RKO's the shit out of her. They 619 her and toss her ass out of there. This is kind of, they did this as an experiment.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
This is their.
Can we bring back the Attitude Era? Is that what they're
So
saying?
this is what they're doing. And this was word for word what was told to me. Creative has been given carte blanche to throw things and see if it sticks.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
This is the new experiment. And this was one of those things.
I'm cool with that.
To throw at the wall and see what the reaction is and how it does. I think for moments like this, it's fine. It's fine. I don't want to see Nia Jax demolishing, the male division. Now, does this mean somebody could enter in the Women's Rumble? Can R-Truth enter the Women's Rumble and start beating up the women?
Right. You can't, I mean,
here's the thing. You can't do it both ways.
We were banking on R-Truth showing up as number 30 in the Women's Rumble because of like the dopey character.
So I was screaming at the TV. So Randy Orton now is like getting ready to RKO her, and I'm like, just do it. I'm just screaming at the TV, and Jess comes down. She's like, "What are you yelling at?" I'm like, "I just want her to RKO the shit out of her,"
Were you naked while you were doing
I was
it?
so naked and oiled up and just grease. I was eating pizza and I had just the pizza grease all over me.
Ready to self-pleasure.
I got so into it, dude. I was like, yeah, just do it. I don't know. Listen, let's see what this leads to. Do I want to see this, Nia Jax versus Randy Orton on Raw? By the way, Nia Jax versus Dean Ambrose.
Do you think it's happening? Can we? All right. So let's talk about that.
So overall, let's rate the Rumble. Seth Rollins wins, by the way. Challenging Brock Lesnar. Blah blah. I thought it was a very good showing. I think Seth deserves it. He's been an MVP for the last year.
We've also been saying he's going to win for like the last 3 months.
Well, actually, everything changed, right? With the. I'm curious what the plan was prior to Roman leaving. I forgot what it was. I have to look at my notes.
The what? One more time?
Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
At one point, it was going to be a Shield match.
Right.
That was the match.
Yeah.
Another point, it was going to be Braun and Roman, and then it was going to be Braun and Lesnar.
Right.
And then Drew was in the mix. They kind of changed everything. Yeah. I got to look at this. I got to see what I had written down.
It was remember that it was like the awful ratings, and then like the McMahons coming out and saying, "We'll promise you new stuff."
Yeah.
And they tweaked their creative direction.
Everything it changed a little bit, but I think the end result would have been still Seth Rollins being Universal Champion.
Okay.
I think they would have gotten to that point.
You mean
I think
the winner of the Rumble?
I don't think Brock Lesnar would have held the title now.
Okay.
I do think at the end Seth Rollins would have been. I think that was their plan for Seth Rollins to win the title.
Yeah. They cooled off on Braun a little bit, which is smart.
I'm still disappointed we did not get that 3-way Shield match.
It could happen. It could always happen.
So now let's go to Raw.
Sure.
Monday Night Raw opened up hot. That crowd was on fire for Monday Night Raw.
Good.
Very lively crowd. We did get a couple things put into place. Seth Rollins says that he's going to announce who the opponent is going to be. Here comes Dean Ambrose.
Yeah.
Dean Ambrose is telling, pretty much instigating him. Dean Ambrose was a weird character. Did you know it was a weird character for him, right?
What do you mean?
It was like a I don't give a character,
I think that was always what the character. I thought it was great.
I thought no. I thought it was a very good showing for him.
Yeah.
Here comes Triple H.
Great.
Actually, did Triple H come out first?
Yes.
Okay, Triple H came out first, asking who you're challenging. Dean Ambrose is instigating both of them, and says, "What are you going to do? I want to face Rollins today." And he goes, "What are you going to do? Ask your father-in-law." And he makes the match. They have a very good match, and Dean Ambrose loses clean right in the middle.
And he sold the stomp like nobody's business.
Like nobody's business. So he. At that moment, I mean, first of all, nobody knew at this point the Dean Ambrose situation, right?
Right.
They do that, and I'm like, that's weird that they did this match now. Very weird. Opening match, it went like almost 20 minutes. They did a long match. They go to a commercial break. Here's Dean Ambrose sitting with a chair in the middle of the ring, and what did he say? He's like, 2 years ago, when blah, 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 and he like goes into it. They cut him off. Nia Jax comes out.
Yeah, well, he was like, all right, let me tell you guys something. And then, it could have been his quote unquote pipe bomb. But I think people, this is what gets me too, where like people think it's still like somehow these guys get control of the microphone and nothing is planned out or staged. You know what I mean? Where I do think him leaving, part of me thinks it's a huge work.
It could be. Listen.
And that can go in 3 directions.
Okay.
You know, 1, it's legitimate. He's out, right? 2, they're trying to find the leak in the company.
Well, no. WWE sent. I got a press release from them. I got an email. Everybody that wrote to them got the same exact response back.
We're parting ways with so-and-so.
Same PR response directly from the company.
The third option, he's just going to SmackDown and they're writing him off of Raw. Because he's done, like the Seth thing.
They said WWE contract.
Done, you know?
I don't know. We'll see. I want to get to that.
You never know.
So they do this weird thing. Nia comes out and scares Dean, and Dean runs off.
Hits him with the thing, right?
So, okay, fine, whatever. Now, the Dean Ambrose story breaks the following day, on Tuesday, that it's coming out that Dean Ambrose is leaving the company.
Yeah.
WWE addresses this with PR replying to everybody and putting out a statement saying that it is true, where his contract ends, he's not renewing, and he's gone in April.
Yeah.
A lot of people know that he was unhappy. I didn't think he would leave.
Right. Especially after they gave him like the nice documentary. He's been featured in many main storylines.
And he just came back from an 8-month injury too.
Right.
Listen, maybe the dude realizes that, like, listen, so remember that Austin interview he did?
Well, yeah.
Where he looked really bad. Like, it was a bad showing for Dean Ambrose.
Yes, yeah.
He really couldn't answer questions. He didn't want to answer. He was getting frustrated. Austin was getting angry. So I spoke to a friend of mine that's there and that was there at the time and was watching it happen. And he said, to many people, that was the moment that Dean Ambrose solidified his spot in the company as to what he will be in the company. Right. He will never be Roman Reigns or Seth Rollins or Brock Lesnar, because this was, when you watched it, and this is coming from top, who was the star in that interview?
Right.
It was Steve Austin.
Yeah.
The only reason why you did not think Steve Austin is a champion is because that title belt was next to Dean Ambrose. Dean Ambrose looked terrible.
Yeah.
Austin looked gigantic next to him. I mean, he really, Steve Austin looked like Steve Austin. I mean, like a star. And Dean Ambrose looked like, I don't know. It was a weird showing. Obviously, they've redone his look. He's shaved head, cleaner look. He's bigger now a little bit. But I think, the problem is once the company gets that mentality, that they have that mentality, and it's really hard to break out of it. I know you're a huge Dean Ambrose fan. Sure. I like him too. I think he may be able to do a lot more outside of the company.
Sure.
Again, this could be a work. This whole thing could be a work, and that was the beginning of the work.
I do think it could be a work, only because, and like, regardless of me being a huge Dean Ambrose fan, I do think that there's something more to it that's going on. And obviously we don't know because there's speculation. So, there's all this stuff.
Like half the locker room thinks it's a work.
Okay.
And the other half, created, by the way, knew nothing about this.
Right.
The person who reported this story is PW Torch. It's Wade Keller. And Wade Keller doesn't do scoops. Okay. So for him to report something, like, he's always like last to report it because he would rather get the story right. And he was the first to get this. So I'm wondering if they called Keller and said, hey, Dean Ambrose is leaving. And they did this whole thing as to kind of work everybody online.
That would be fun. Who knows if they're going to do that? But again, like you were saying before, they're throwing stuff at the wall to see if it
sticks. And that's the only reason why, because I was literally told the day before that's why that they're doing stuff like this, where they're throwing stuff against the wall to make it stick.
Plus, his wife's with the company. He always seemed like a dude who played ball. The guy has been featured since he was in the Shield. You know what I mean?
Since 2012, he's been a main eventer.
Right.
Since his debut.
He maybe had like when he was doing the IC title stuff, that was maybe his major lull, right? But ever since...
Still a key player, right?
Key player, does the Make-A-Wish stuff, does the fan stuff. So I feel like that's like, that kind of points to like it being a work. On the other end, that Itami thing, I feel like that's straight up legitimate.
Straight up legitimate.
Like, unhappy, I got to go back to Japan.
So, to kind of touch more about the Dean Ambrose thing.
Yeah.
I tried to confirm this, and nobody knew when it happened. And generally, I'll hear something. Now, even within the company, even people that always like give good info are telling me like, dude, we don't know. Like it's out of nowhere. Dean was not one of those guys that we would see leaving. He's he'll be unhappy like everybody else, but I didn't see he was leaving. He was making good money. His wife is there, and the big thing is that they like traveling together. So they like being with each other. They don't. So that's a major part in this. For WWE to announce it the way that they did, so strategically, is the only. Listen, again, you could go down this rabbit hole.
That they're trying to get in front of it.
It could be that we're looking too much into it because it's professional wrestling, or it could just be that they're legitimately reporting on it because people ask them. But to have the PR team coincide with the online team and have Wade Keller by the way, he reported this right after the pay-per-view. So, maybe, I don't know.
The planned strategy.
It's a planned strategy.
Also, if the dude does leave, he doesn't have to wrestle anymore. He doesn't have to do anything. And I think with everything that's coming up with pro wrestling, where everybody's
right after Monday. It was Monday into Tuesday. I'm sorry.
Everybody's screaming now, like, oh, this guy's going to AEW, or like this guy's going here. It got to the point over the last few days where apparently Dean Ambrose and Brock Lesnar are showing up.
Dude, okay, can we mention this Brock Lesnar thing? So this Brock Lesnar thing is crazy. What culture, for they make content, they make fine content, whatever they do to top 10. They put out. I mean, listen, guys, we gotta. I get the hits. We all need to get the web hits.
Oh yeah.
And we all need to get the viewers.
We need the clicks, baby.
And we need the ads. But when you're posting like Brock Lesnar going to AEW,
it's clickbait.
And you're doing to feed into something. Brock Lesnar has never said he's going to AEW. What the story is that Dave Meltzer said, out of everybody in pro wrestling, Brock Lesnar's in the best position to negotiate the most money.
Absolutely.
Because he's still in the USADA pool, so he's making WWE think that he's going to UFC.
Right.
UFC knows that he has WWE money, and WWE's dropping a lot of bread.
Absolutely.
And AEW and Chris Jericho's making fun of Brock Lesnar in his belly to incite something, to start something there. Because I know Chris wants to work with Brock.
And also deleted that tweet.
Deleted the tweet. So this is...
Everybody's working.
Everybody's working to make money. Everybody's working to get themselves over. Brock Lesnar, you know how I say if Kenny Omega showed up at the Royal Rumble, I'll eat my shoe.
I would have loved to see that.
I'm very close to making that same statement for Brock Lesnar going to AEW.
Okay.
Because you know that Vince is gonna. Why would Vince want to lose him? He's a freaking attraction.
Yeah, and you know what? After that Finn match, it makes me want to see more of that. You know what I mean?
Listen, man, the viewers are there for Brock Lesnar. I know that a lot of people don't want that to be true.
Yeah.
But the viewership is up for Brock Lesnar. The merchandise sales are up for Brock Lesnar. Pay-per-views sell better with Brock Lesnar.
Shitty tattoos do very well.
Tattoos do really well with Brock Lesnar. He, for all that it's worth, is their top star in the company.
Yeah.
And everybody has to realize this. I know we love Finn Balor's and AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan, but the reality is Brock Lesnar's the guy bringing the viewership. Somebody said 900,000 viewers gone. I don't know where those what segment you're talking about, but every time Brock is on TV, viewers are there. That's the reality. Actually, you know who's the biggest star for the company? Vince McMahon. He moves the needle. He moves the needle more than anybody else.
Absolutely. Apart from all that speculation, it's kind of funny too. In the last 2 weeks, we've been getting so much quote unquote inside dirt. Maria Kanellis, The Revival, Hideo Itami, Dean Ambrose. Everybody's unhappy. Nobody's happy. Everybody's happy.
I've also heard other names, right? Cedric, I've heard.
I could see that.
Cedric, I've heard.
I could
Mike
see a lot
Kanellis,
of the 205 guys.
Well, Jack Gallagher, another one.
Yeah.
A lot of these guys are in a position they took a very like the Jack Gallaghers are not getting paid a lot.
Right.
And there's more money if they go on their own. And I know why they signed. I know what the promise is and the opportunity was. I think once their contracts are over, they're gone.
Mustafa was the breakout guy.
Because somebody saw him and they said, my God, he's really good.
Daniel Bryan.
Okay. Yeah. Lesnar's not going to AEW. Lesnar's going for big money, and AEW would not pay Brock Lesnar what WWE's paying him. And it really, I do think it would move the needle for AEW.
Absolutely.
However, that would be a huge needle to move.
But again, what's the competition?
What's the competition? Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, unless you somehow get an Okada Brock Lesnar match out of this down the line.
Dude, I would actually love that. I want to see all that.
Right?
Did you see the weird post that Rusev and Nakamura did? They tweeted WCW.
Yeah.
Why?
After dropping the belt, the Brett WCW.
Why? Yeah.
I think that was just to work the fans a little bit.
I think they're all working the fans.
And I think that, and I think also they're adding fuel to the fire, having Nakamura lose and look like an oaf.
Yeah.
By saying like, oh my God, he's unhappy now too. He's gonna go back to Japan. It's so like wrestling right now. You can speculate. This is what I consider so much fun.
Yeah.
Is because there's a kinetic energy of speculating all this dopey stuff that it doesn't matter at the end of the day. It's entertainment. But you're kind of like biting your nails a bit because you want to be like, oh, what's happening with Dean Ambrose? What's happening with this guy? And it makes it more fun.
Listen, it's a lot of fun. It's fun to speculate. I feel like we have hit the, like with speculation and internet stuff, we're back to like 2099.
Oh, absolutely.
I think we're at 2099 levels with like crazy speculation. I'm from all that I know and that all that is said to me, WWE is not afraid of losing Brock Lesnar to AEW.
Yeah,
that's not even a fathomable consideration at the moment. Listen, maybe in a year, you never know. Maybe in a year.
Yeah.
Who knows? What else happened?
SmackDown,
No. Let's talk about Ronda Rousey on Raw.
Oh, has she?
So I felt bad for her. I felt bad for her.
Why? I don't feel bad for celebrities. You feel bad for celebrities?
Yeah, I feel bad for her. I'll tell you why. She came out there to do a promo, and this is a great example of she does not have the experience that some other wrestlers have.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. With that said, Bayley did not do a good job either. Okay. When she came out, she fumbled and she stuttered and she humana. She was terrible as Ronda was. Ronda has an excuse. She has been there for a year. Mm-hmm. She's been wrestling for a year. She doesn't really do promos. I think what they did, they exposed her, and I don't know if it was done on purpose. Mm-hmm. Knowing that the crowd is going to react that way, because if you know you got a hot crowd, why would you give Ronda Rousey the mic and talk about Becky Lynch when she is number one? Right. So she comes out, she does this promo, and she really kind of loses it, and she lost her bearings, and I feel bad for her for losing the bearings with the audience. And then Bayley comes out, and she's, God knows, aloof. Mm-hmm. She does a terrible promo. Bayley and her have a terrible match. Mm-hmm. Just botch after botch. I mean, they were both lost.
Yeah. The nerves got to them.
I guess so. I think so. Then Becky comes out.
Yeah.
Crowd freaking erupts.
Yeah.
At that moment, Ronda got her shit together.
Right.
And delivered the line exactly how she was supposed to deliver. She got it back together. Uh-huh. If they're going to joust with the mics, I don't know how good Ronda's going to do building up to this. And I do think it'll hurt the build if they keep doing this back and forth, because Becky is
she's awesome.
Very well put together on the mic.
Do you think Ronda needs Paul Heyman?
I think Ronda needs to be talking less.
Right. But do you think she needs a mouthpiece?
I think at this point it's too late.
Yeah.
I think at this point she just needs to say less and just beat people up. So now you're in this weird predicament that you took a year and you built Ronda Rousey, right? And Ronda was very successful for them, got their mainstream exposure. She was a key part of that Fox deal, by the way. Yeah. Pivotal part of that Fox deal. She was a pivotal part in getting a lot of these new eyeballs to the brand. Ratings are always up in the Ronda Rousey segment, except for that last week for that tag match, which plummeted. They lost 700,000 viewers. That was, I think, I don't know. I don't know what that says. But now you have a situation that Becky Lynch is the man. She's the person. She's going to date. She has to main event WrestleMania. She's the most over person in the company organically. against Ronda Rousey, which you've created, and now it's turning into a Roman Reigns, and that is not good for anybody. And then now you're going to put in Charlotte. Now, Charlotte has to be in that match.
Yes.
Because she has to take all the pressure off of Ronda, the booing off of Ronda, and put it on her.
Yeah. I kind of find that those are like insurmountable odds at this point. I also do think Becky wins and goes to Raw, and Ronda goes to SmackDown and feuds with everybody on SmackDown. Because you've only had her on a one-sided year, right? And she's only done the Raw female competitors. I think you do the old switcheroo, put Becky back on Raw. She's the man on Raw. Vince probably
Is this after, you talking about after WrestleMania?
After WrestleMania, Vince probably loves that character. Put her on Raw with the Raw Women's title. Put Ronda and Charlotte and Asuka as your three main competitors on SmackDown.
I mean, I think this is amazing because a year ago, this match was supposed to be Charlotte and Ronda for the title. That was the match that was in paper. And Becky getting over, they pivoted. They listened to the fans. Listen, for all the stuff that we say about WWE not listening, they did listen to you. They gave you Ronda Rousey. They gave you Becky Lynch, and they let it happen. Now they have to put Charlotte in the match. They have to, because they have to save Ronda Rousey. That's again, we got. I know the match, and also, by the way, you're saving Ronda Becky.
Absolutely,
you're still saving that. But you have to realize that this company has invested a lot of effort into Ronda Rousey, and they can't have her be booed to the level that she'll be booed.
She will be booed that much.
She will be booed. I think what it's doing, it's taking some of the collateral damage off, and you're putting it on. Charlotte. Now, how they lay this match out, I'm positive it's going to be an unbelievable match. I think it's going to be a way better match. I think the concept here would be they both beat the shit out of Ronda. Ronda's out for majority of the match. Charlotte and Becky have a great match. Charlotte finally has Becky where she wants her. Goes, and Becky's gonna pin, and here comes Ronda to save Becky's ass. Okay. And here goes Ronda out going at it with Charlotte. Becky's now laid out a little bit. The last spot, you save Becky and Ronda.
I think
that's the spot and you do a quick thing with them, let them boo Ronda, but they don't boo her the entire match. She was still, she kind of saved Becky, and then I guarantee you the end result is them all holding hands, unfortunately.
I think I agree with the holding hands, because you're going to have that weird moment. Here's my end to the match. Becky goes for a disarmer, right? On Ronda Rousey. Okay. Charlotte's out of the ring at this point. I'll follow you up to there. Becky goes for the disarmer. She's got it locked on Ronda. Ronda counters it into her own armbar. They get up off the ground. Becky spins her around, hits her with a stunner. And that's how you end it.
A stunner.
Because Becky's been doing the stunner at live shows.
Has she? Yeah, she has.
And I do think
they would lose their minds.
I think the crowd would
lose their shit. Yeah. Listen, there's a lot of things, and we have a long way to go that way. Also, by the way, we are going to take your questions, so start submitting your questions. Guys, if you're watching live, we're going to still do this for about 15 minutes. That's
sure,
good.
Man. We got to talk about SmackDown. We don't have to talk about all SmackDown.
Yeah.
Let's talk about
the belt.
Let's talk about the belt. Daniel Bryan unveiled a
wooden belt.
The eco-friendly belt, which is made of hemp and oak.
Yeah. I kind of want that on my fireplace.
Me personally, I thought it was one of the best things I've ever seen on SmackDown.
Dude, I loved it. I actually think it's a great... Listen, it's not the best looking belt, but I think for his gimmick, I think that's a fun concept. I think it's fun. Also, imagine how many of those they're going to sell. They're going to WrestleMania. At WrestleMania,
$20 each.
How many wooden title belts for $400 are they going to sell?
Apparently, this belt cost them $6,000 to make.
Wow.
As opposed to the other belt, which cost $2,000.
Yeah, I guess it needs more craftsmanship.
Organically sourced materials.
Is it?
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of that. I like the team up of him, and the end of SmackDown, honestly, was the best ending of a WWE
What was the end? Remind me again.
They had 6 dudes in the ring, all challenging for Daniel Bryan. Samoa Joe comes out, cuts an awesome promo on everybody, going from person to person.
That was the end?
Yeah, he told Jeff Hardy
Samoa Joe, this isn't
think of this like an AA meeting. I'm sharing, so shut your mouth. Goes up to AJ, does the wife thing, and then Triple H shows up on the screen like a deity, and tells Daniel Bryan he'll be facing everybody at Elimination Chamber.
So what do you think they do at Elimination Chamber?
I think he retains, man.
You think he retains?
Yeah.
So
I think Eric Rowan lifts up the Elimination Chamber
by himself
with one hand.
What if Luke Harper shows up?
That'd be great. That'd be great too.
So what's the match at WrestleMania?
I think you're gonna get a.
By the way, it was Naturally Fallen Oak.
Okay, yes, Naturally Fallen Oak. I think you're gonna get some kind of like 4-way for that title
at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be a 1-on-1. I think the Universal is gonna be 1-on-1. I think the SmackDown Championship is gonna be. Hear me out. Daniel Bryan.
Okay.
Samoa Joe.
Mm-hmm.
AJ Styles.
Mm-hmm.
Mustafa Ali.
Okay. So everybody in that match is eventually going to get paired off for WrestleMania, right?
Yes.
That's kind of how they do it. You have Randy Orton.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, I feel Randy Orton is going to be in that title picture.
They work well together, him and Daniel Bryan.
I feel like I mean I know that they were saying it's going to be AJ Styles and Randy Orton.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to see it at WrestleMania. Listen, man, I get Randy Orton. I get him. I appreciate him. He's fine. But where do you put Randy Orton at WrestleMania? Where do you put Samoa Joe? Where do you put, if Daniel Bryan is a champion going in, where does he go?
I think they should do elimination.
Maybe he drops it. Maybe he drops it at the Elimination Chamber.
Really? You think so? Like,
maybe
like
AJ
Bray Wyatt?
wins. Maybe somebody else wins the title, and then you have a match set up.
I don't think they'd go through that much trouble to make the hemp belt, only for him to drop it like next month.
Yeah, because they're gonna want to sell that at WrestleMania.
They're gonna want to. I think that's gonna be a hot commodity too, and like the fact that like it's such a great character because much like the CM Punk straight edge character, it's like the stuff he's saying isn't wrong. It's how he's saying it.
Yeah,
like him telling people that they should source locally, and he was wearing like a babyface T-shirt also.
He was wearing a babyface
like no
T-shirt.
Violence, no sexism, no homophobia. And it's such a great character turn, and the fact that Rowan's with him I think is great too, and how he's reflecting how they talk about philosophy together and all that stuff. I do think you're gonna get some kind of like 4-way at WrestleMania, and then the rest of the guys are you're gonna have like a big scramble for the US belt too, because you got to keep the guys on the card, right?
You got to,
arguably,
it's a 45-hour card, by the way.
Right.
WrestleMania is 45 hours this year.
And arguably, AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, Jeff Hardy, and Randy Orton are all main eventers, correct?
Yes, every one of them.
And Daniel Bryan as well. So I think this leads in. I don't think you're going to get those one-off matches. I think you're going to get like a ladder match at some point. What if they had a ladder match for the title?
For the title, that would be awesome. That'd be cool. Here's the thing though. Who's the babyface to challenge Daniel Bryan, right? Because he's a heel technically. Who's the babyface to challenge him?
You have your three choices are AJ, Mustafa, and Jeff Hardy.
AJ, Mustafa, Jeff Hardy.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be Mustafa.
Okay.
I don't think it's going to be Jeff Hardy.
You don't think Mustafa gets this insane WrestleMania moment?
I think it's AJ Styles if that's the case, but maybe I don't know. Again, this is interesting. I don't know. I have not heard anything about this.
I think you put the belt on Mustafa at some point.
No, they're not going to do that.
Why not?
Not yet.
They've done it. Like this is
listen,
again,
not yet.
Throwing stuff to the wall. Remember when Jeff won the first world championship and people were like, "Really? Good for him." The first time CM Punk won when he cashed in. Same thing. People were like, "Wow, really?
I don't know.
Good for this
Listen,
guy."
maybe they'll do it. Maybe they could do it. I don't know. I don't know if that's the WrestleMania moment. I think when they think WrestleMania moment, they want Randy Orton holding that title up.
Ugh.
Yeah. Dude, maybe it's Randy Orton and Daniel Bryan.
Snakeskin belt. That's what I want to see.
Snakeskin belt. You know what? Who I would love to see win that title? Samoa Joe.
Absolutely.
I want Samoa Joe walking around with that belt because you know what? He's a believable champion.
Mm-hmm. And he could rock the hemp belt.
Who's the first person to win that title and then just burn it?
Randy Orton.
Randy Orton?
Yeah. If they go like heel route, Andrade's a good opponent.
Is Randy a heel?
Yeah.
Is he?
I think so.
Are we sure?
I'm pretty sure.
I think he's a babyface. Who's he been feuding with?
Nobody. He's been off the air, remember? Yeah. Snakeskin belt. I think Andrade's a good choice. Rey Mysterio is another good choice, Rey
Mysterio Andrade is an interesting thing. So I know that they want to team these guys up with equal admiration towards each other. I do think I would love to see them hair versus mask.
Okay.
That has, I mean, dude, come on. You have an opportunity to do it.
I don't want to see that happen.
You don't want to see it?
No.
Well, Ray gets, his child face shows.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see his fetal head.
I think they're going to do something with this. I don't know. I don't know where that's going. There's a lot going on here, guys. A lot is going on.
I think Randy's going to come to Raw because there has to be like a shakeup, right?
Right after WrestleMania, right?
Yeah, right after WrestleMania. So I think Randy's going to Raw, and you're going to get a Randy Orton Seth Rollins feud.
Yeah.
Again, right? Because that happened. I think there's a lot of moving parts, man. Their roster is so thick when you think about who they have in the UK, who they have in NXT, who they have in Raw and SmackDown, and all the developmental guys that we don't know about, and the new signings, and they just had the tryouts. There's 1,000 wrestlers that work for WWE right now.
So right now, here's the other issue, and this will be our last segment. And then, by the way, guys, we're going to do questions. So get ready with your questions. If you're in our chat room on YouTube, go ahead and save them and then submit them when we say submit them. Just think of your questions, and we're going to do a mailbag at the end.
Yeah.
Right now, SmackDown is in a weird position. SmackDown had a very low rating, lower than last week, and that generally does not happen after the Rumble. There are 500,000 viewers down from last year. This is not great. Considering the fact that Daniel Bryan has returned, AJ Styles, is there.
Yeah.
Samoa Joe is there. This is actually the better show, week over week. But the ratings are down 500,000. They need to be doing the 3.5 million viewership per week on Fox. This is not going to end well for them. I'm telling you, Fox is not going to sit there and just let it happen where they're not bringing people. So now we're in this weird situation where how do you turn your ratings around in eight months? What do you have to do to get the interest back? Because generally, SmackDown does about 75% to 85% of the Raw rating, the Raw viewership.
Okay.
So there's like a good 20% that don't care and they don't watch. Raw ratings are down, so obviously SmackDown ratings are going to be down. But how do you increase these numbers by 1 million in 8 months?
The McMahons? Undertaker?
I mean, no, realistically, though, I mean, you need a captivating storyline to keep it going. I don't know how possible that's going to be.
Brad Jones in our chat room keeps asking everybody who he should marry.
No one cares, Brad Jones.
Sasha Banks or
That's an
Liv
insane.
Morgan?
I'm going to tell you something. That is an insane thing to ask people. That is an insane thing to ask.
How would you change the ratings? How would you up the ratings if this was up to you?
Okay, so here's the problem. What I'm going to say is going to upset people because the internet and the people watching this majority of the time, and the people on YouTube and the people on Twitter that comment about stuff and the people that love AEW, we are a fraction of the viewership.
Oh yeah.
Okay, when the Attitude Era happened and things blew up, it was the casual fan that drove those numbers, not us.
We're the guys that don't count anymore.
We are there week after week. Like Impact. Impact had 300,000 people week after. I mean, now it's less because it's a disaster. But that was a anomaly, and they couldn't understand. Like during holidays, right, where ratings drop, Impact would stay steady, stay the course.
Yeah.
They would not have a drop with the numbers, and they kind of figured out, like, oh, listen, these are the fans, and this is who's tuning in. WWE is catering to everybody. When we talk about AEW and what they're going to do on ratings on TBS or TNT, they have, I don't think they're going to do 1 million on that first show. Okay. Realistically, I think we're looking at the 500,000 to 700,000 mark. And that's with eventually. I think maybe they'll do 500,000 to begin with, and they'll slowly grow. Because the reality is, we are P1s. We are there. We are watching. How are you going to get the guys that are disenfranchised with wrestling?
And there's a lot of them,
right? How are you going to get that? Unfortunately, you need storylines. You need quick interest clips. You need things like that. Some people are saying PG is BS. The PG stuff is not the problem. It is not the problem at all. PG is not. I'm not even considering that to be the issue where it needs to be PG-13. You don't have to go to that point. Majority of the Attitude Era was PG.
Are we so convoluted as a media loving society that there is no right answer at this point.
There is. It's just figuring out which combination it is. There's no one right answer.
But I'm saying, at one point it was this is the answer. Now it's you have to come up with the perfect storm.
Yeah.
To get these ratings out of the hole if they care about ratings.
Listen, dude, we talk about PG. We talk about, somebody was like, well, they need to do more of this. They need to be more violent. You see a chair shot and then people are freaking out saying, oh, my God, that's so barbaric. I don't want to see that. That's terrible. That's terrible. Yeah. There is no right answer anymore because somebody will dislike what it is. I think the other problem is everybody has a voice now.
Right.
To everything. And they don't know who to listen to. You know who they listened to before? People that went to house shows and people that went to meet and greets and who sold the most merch. That was their gauge.
And veterans.
Not forums.
It was a smaller circle.
It was a much smaller circle. Now you have 20 writers. You have 1,000 producers. You have agents. You have management. You have this. You have that. You have social media trend experts. You have a PR team that's guiding you. You have a sales team that's guiding you.
You got neuroscientists.
You got You got a lot of directions as to which way to go. I think for WWE it's a little bit more complicated.
Okay.
Because they're a publicly traded company. At the end of the day, that's who they answer to.
And they need to impress their sponsors too.
Like
you can't have unprotected chair shots if you're working with the Susan G. Komen Foundation.
Yeah.
Every year.
I do think them going to 2 hours would be a very smart call for Raw. They can't right now because of the sponsors that they're selling. The only way that they would be able to do it is by limiting sponsors and upping their ad rate. We will see what happens with SmackDown. I think if they're able to kind of sell SmackDown well, they'll be able to do it.
Okay.
That's the reality of it. I think if they lower it, they'll be able to do it. As far as, on SmackDown side where you have a higher ad rate because you're on a network and you now entice those advertisers slowly to come over to Raw with a higher ad rate because now your product is more valuable. That's how it works. Manny Guzman, fire Kevin Dunn, new production. Kevin Dunn isn't the problem. He's actually, that's how it is. He's not the problem. The reality is they need to figure out what direction they're going in. Now for AEW, I don't know. I don't think they're going to do 1 million buys. I don't think they're going to do 1 million viewers their first off the bat.
Yeah.
They got to figure out what identity they have. Are they going to be a Ring of Honor with better production, or are they going to have storyline? Are they going to be storyline driven? Everybody gave crap to TNA when they went competing with WWE, but they got about 1.8 million views when they were trying to copy WWE. Now, that wasn't the answer. They didn't do it right at all.
I do think from the press conference, the AEW press conference, they will be more story driven because during a press conference, which they didn't have to do, they had built-in stories put in place, right?
Yeah.
So going into it, you already know you're going to get Pac versus Hangman.
We know that we're getting
Janela versus MJF, right? So I think the story-driven content is what AEW does because they're like old school dudes, right? Long-term storytelling,
which I'm fine with. I hope they get it right, and I think it'll be good for WWE because it'll kind of figure out the direction there. But as far as listen, guys, it's not us. It's the kids at home. It's the P1. It's the P3. Listen, the guy channel surfing and seeing something and turning it on. What happens to those people?
Do you think that's why they're doing the a little bit more of
yes, 130%. That's why you're getting Mandy Rose.
I'm holding 2 sacks
because
of money.
You know what? You're flipping through the channel. You're like, oh, wrestling's on. Let me see what's going on. And you see Mandy Rose there in a towel.
Yeah.
You're going to keep it on for a little bit.
Yeah.
You see something exciting happening. You're going to keep it on a little bit.
This ain't bad.
Hey, I'm going to watch this again.
Yeah.
I think there is a formula. I don't think they know it yet. I think WWE's trying things out right now to figure out what that formula is. But we have to, as fans, as hardcore fans, we have to realize that we are not the end all be all.
We're not at all.
It's the other guys that are casual fans that drive the ratings, not us, because we're very limited. We're only a couple people.
This is like when I used to work at the comic store, and everybody would come in with their pitches of how to fix stuff, and it would always be like, he needs Wolverine claws.
Of course.
And it's like, and I think we're in that now where everybody is screaming like, bring back the Attitude Era.
And the Attitude Era. No, nobody wants the Attitude Era. Nobody wants that.
Make the Bullet Club the kings of WWE. Do this, do that. But it's like this is this business will never end. This is a perpetual business. So you need to think at this point, not a year ahead of time, but you got to think like 3 or 4 years, 5 years ahead of time, and say, who are going to be my guys.
Listen, here's the other thing. You're somebody in our chat room said it perfectly right. They're not just competing with television. They're competing with Minecraft. They're competing with Fortnite. They're competing with Netflix. They're competing with everybody. So the attention span, you got to grab them.
Yeah.
They're never going to do 5 million to 8 million viewers. They're not going to do 4 million viewers again. It's going to be a very difficult thing. But I think a 3.5 million viewership is a very strong product. That's when you know the product is on fire. And they're not there. You're also giving away a lot of it for free. You're giving it away on YouTube. You're giving it away on WWE.com with clips. I don't have to watch wrestling to be up to par with wrestling, and that does affect it in a way. But there's a formula to kind of tally that, what percentage of people are doing that. Listen, somebody said I sound like Vince Russo. Vince Russo, in theory, his concept is it makes sense. Execution wise, it didn't for whatever reason. I'm not going to knock him because I don't know the guy and I've never spoken to him. But, there needs to be some sort of creative to grab those other guys. The wrestling is always great. We have WWE has the best athletes in the world, the best wrestlers in the world.
Yeah.
This is the greatest crop that they've ever had of true great wrestlers.
Athletes.
Every one of these guys could do a 25-minute clinic every single night. Is that going to make ratings go up?
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And by the way, I'm not saying it's not. I'm just putting it out there. Is that what's going to make ratings go up?
It's got to be the perfect storm of circumstances. But let's say one day WWE says, hey, listen, we're pulling our content from network television. Everything is strictly on the network.
Yeah.
You get it for $20 a month. You get Raw and SmackDown. How would you feel about that?
Say that again.
WWE within the next few years says, hey, we're pulling our content from network television.
Network television. Okay.
We're charging you $20 a month for the WWE network.
Yeah.
Raw and SmackDown are going to be on the WWE network.
They would hemorrhage so much money that the company would probably go out of business.
Okay.
Or drop down to a scale unheard of.
Okay.
Because their bread and butter is now TV. TV rights. They're getting paid a lot of money to be on TV. I do think eventually they will try to put their replays on there. Listen, the network only has 2 million people.
Yeah.
It has nothing. And out of those 2 million, how many of them are actually watching live content?
That is true.
How many of them have it and they forgot about it when it launched?
The one thing about the network that I would say, as I explained to my buddies on Sunday, was for $10 a month, it's one of the most worth it subscription services if you're a fan of professional wrestling.
Absolutely.
Even if you're not the biggest fan, it's still worth it to kind of like
go back,
catch up on stuff,
Yeah. Listen, and I always tell people, the people that are screaming how great the Attitude Era was, I tell them to go back and go on the network and watch the Attitude Era.
A lot of it's unwatchable.
I'm not talking about, the early 2000s. I'm not talking about 2002, 2003, 2004. I'm talking about 97, 98, 99.
Throw 96 in there too.
Attitude Era, 97.
Yeah.
97.
Okay.
But, okay, let's go to 98.
Sure.
Watch Raw from 1998. You know what it was? Opening segment, 8 o'clock hour, 9 o'clock hour. I'm sorry, 9 o'clock hour, 10 o'clock hour, 11 o'clock, and that was it.
And the overrun.
And the overrun. That was it. How many times if you tell me the Attitude Era was unbelievable, I'm going to ask you, watch Midian versus a guy from DOA.
Exactly. Yeah.
Watch that match.
Yeah.
Watch Goldust versus Farouk over and over again.
Right.
It was not great. The problem was they had such a hot product with The Rock, with Steve Austin, with Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon, Steve Austin.
Yeah.
Vince McMahon, Steve Austin. That's all it was for a long time.
And anything Undertaker got into.
Dude, it was so bad that I'm going to tell you something. They had no top heel in the company to face Austin, where, it was supposed to be Dr. Death. Dr. Death was supposed to be that guy.
Yeah.
And that Brawl for All killed it. He never recovered from it. He just lost whatever he had. It was so bad as far as building a heel character for Steve Austin to go up against. They had nobody. Vince McMahon had to end up being that heel character and wrestle Steve Austin.
Right.
That was not something that was thought of in the plans, where Vince McMahon is going to be your top heel in the company for the next 22 months, until The Rock was being developed at that point. to be the guy, but The Rock became a fan favorite. They were really low as far as main event players until about 2000.
Right. I as a 37-year-old man, I do love that era of wrestling.
Is the chat going nuts?
That a little bit. That era of wrestling had a place in my heart.
Of course it does.
But as an adult, a reasonable adult, when you go back and watch, like we've been doing the old Rumbles on Patreon, and like some of the dudes that
terrible
came
wrestlers.
in were like, oh, what was this guy's storyline? And like, oh, he was feuding with this guy. This guy was like eating poop. This guy was like kicking kids. You know, it's like really like oddball stuff. Because I think at that point, WCW had taken everybody, and this is what was left.
This is what was left,
right?
Yeah. And you had to do your best with it.
You had to do your best, and they didn't have like the grandest roster.
Yeah,
you know, not like compared to today. You know, that's 20 years ago, 1998 compared to 2018. Like you said, everybody on that roster could put on a wrestling clinic.
Yeah. Also, by the way, the goal here is also for WrestleMania to be on a network.
Mm-hmm.
That is the goal for 2020.
Yeah.
For the WWE, for WrestleMania to be either on Fox or NBC. And WWE's very smart with this. They're positioning this when they're ready to say, okay, who wants WrestleMania on a Sunday before the Super Bowl?
Mm-hmm.
So he's, before the Super Bowl, where you really don't have a product. You don't have nothing. There's a dead space here. Who wants Raw? Who wants WrestleMania?
Right.
And you have two networks fighting for it because you have a relationship with them. That is going to be the pinnacle.
That's a good linchpin for a lot of stuff that goes into the future.
You got to remember that also. That's a big moneymaker because WWE's goal is to treat this like the Super Bowl.
Mm.
This is the Super Bowl. And I just got an email from somebody there, actually.
From the Super Bowl?
No.
We're going to the Super Bowl?
From WWE.
I told you not to answer your emails.
Yeah. Sorry. I just saw it pop up.
It's talking about his plumbing.
Yeah.
When are you coming by?
That's the goal, to make this the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of for that to happen, pay-per-view is a dead business for them. They're not doing pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
You put it also on the network. That's the way to do it. You put it on a network, not the WWE network. You put it on Fox
or Fox or NBC or something like that. You know, that could also be fun too, because much like the Super Bowl, I'm gonna watch the Super Bowl this weekend. Do I care about the Pats versus the Rams? I don't, but I do like having fun with my friends and guessing what's going to be the first commercial.
Sure, yeah.
How's the halftime show going to be? And plus watching the game and drinking a couple of adult beverage or whatever. Imagine WrestleMania gets to that point where it just like encapsulates that casual fan where people are doing, oh man, what's the WrestleMania halftime show?
Yeah.
Oh man, what's going to be the first commercial during WrestleMania? You could easily see it happen. And then you know what happens after that? Disney buys WWE.
Oh man, that's not happening.
They
could have sold it if they wanted to. I think they like the McMahons like doing it. So listen, guys, there's a lot of reasons why the ratings are down and what they can do to make it better. It's just going to take time. They need to stay on a course. They need to stick to something. I also don't think 20 writers is necessary. A committee is never great.
No.
One guy has to make that decision.
Too many cooks in the kitchen. That's why the writers don't last too long.
Yeah, and they move fast. And if you're a good writer, if you're a new writer, you know what you do? They put you with the women. If you're like a really, really good writer, they're like, write for Mandy Rose.
Right.
Like, don't write for like the hot angles. You're really good. Write for Mandy Rose.
Yeah.
Let's see how good you really are.
Let's see how good you can make this person.
Guys, submit your questions now. We're going to do about 5 minutes of Q&A. I want to remind everybody, if you enjoy the show, you can fund us on Patreon, patreon.com/MattMenPodcast. You can fund us here on YouTube. Hit that dollar button and you could give us $1 or $2, whatever you want to give us. And hit that subscribe button. That is a tremendous help. Right under the video, you can hit subscribe. It's a huge help when you do that.
We have 2.5 million subscribers so far. Oh wait, no, that says
1,000.
2.5 thousand. Okay, that's cool. That's a K, right?
That's a K.
That's not an M?
That's not an M. That's
I need to learn how to read.
We need to turn that into an M.
Guys, you also should check us out on patreon.com/MattMenPodcast. We do some extras every so often.
Someone said you can't do a 17-hour WrestleMania on Fox or NBC. I mean, the Super Bowl starts. The coverage for the Super Bowl is as long as probably
starts at 5 a.m.
Yeah, it starts forever. So I guess they can. Let's see. Will Kushida go the way of Knock and Kenta?
This is Nuke.
Nuke and Kenta. Kushida is showing up. I think he just did his last match against Tanahashi, and he should be there within a couple of weeks.
Tapped out to a Texas Cloverleaf.
Yeah.
While Tana got attacked by switchblade. Switchblade.
Yeah,
Switchblade.
Swishblade. That's a new guy. I don't know. I don't know what they'll do. I don't think it's a smart move by him.
Guys, we might miss a couple of questions because it's coming in really quick.
Okay.
Who do you guys want to large 23? Who do you guys want to go against Shayna Baszler?
For in NXT?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know who they have right now.
In general, I would like to see a Sasha versus Baszler feud. I don't know why. I just want that.
Sasha and Baszler?
Yeah.
I would like to see Baszler and Becky.
Okay. All right.
How do you feel about Halftime Heat? I'm very excited for this. So the way that they're doing this, originally, they're doing it in a performance center. And originally, they were going to open it up for people to come and watch. And they nixed that. As of Tuesday, that was a plan. They changed it. So what they're doing, actually, they're having a Super Bowl party at the Performance Center for friends and family. So the wrestlers, the staff, everybody, their friends and family are all going to go there for a Super Bowl party, and they're going to be the audience at the Performance Center. So that's how they're doing it. I think it'll be a lot of fun, and they're going live. They're not pre-recording this. It's a live event.
Awesome.
So in the middle of their friends and family Super Bowl party at the Performance Center, they're gonna wrestle. They're gonna cut away to this match, which I think is an experiment, and hopefully it will work because I see them doing this a lot more. Did you notice they're using the Super Bowl? Yeah, but do you know why?
Why?
NBC owns that.
Okay, and they're buddies.
So they're using the big game.
What do we got? How long does R-Truth hold the U.S. title?
Very quick.
Very quick. Like big. They're gonna make that the hardcore belt.
Yeah.
Let's see what do we got here. How do we feel about Halftime Heat? We just answered that. Do you think that Cody and crew creating AEW by essentially piggybacking off of ROH was kind of a screw job to ROH? Did AEW do ROH dirty? I don't think so at all.
Yeah, I don't think so.
ROH was floundering, and honestly, and you know, it sucks to say it, but one of the reasons why ROH got so popular within the last couple of years is because they had those dudes. They had the Bullet Club. They had Adam Cole, Marty Scurll, Cody, the Bucks, Kenny, and at Hangman, and you had
Marty,
and you had all the Bullet Club dudes, and they were their own entity, and they just kind of took what they had and went somewhere else.
The other problem with ROH is that they Sinclair is their bank essentially,
right?
Is their piggy bank, and Sinclair likes to tease. Like, how long did it take them to get new lighting? How long did it take them to get a stage?
Yeah,
they couldn't. And actually, it was pressure from New Japan,
right,
to Sinclair, to Ring of Honor, saying like, listen, guys, like,
step it up a little.
We need to step it up. Like, we're sending our guys there. It needs to look good. It can't
be black curtains and black napkins everywhere.
You can't have a hole in your mat.
Right.
We went to Ring of Honor. In Terminal 5. This is like right beginning when like it was booming.
Yeah.
The Bullet Club was there. It was AJ Styles and the Young Bucks versus Kingdom. There was a giant hole in the middle of the mat with gaffer's tape covering it.
Yeah.
And you want to be a premier product? The problem is they piggybacked on New Japan guys. They piggybacked on the Bullet Club. And now you're in a situation where you didn't really do much to build your talent. And they don't have the deep pockets. They don't have the money to do it.
Right.
That's also part of it. My question is, how great and amazing would this be? AJ Styles versus Kenny Omega at WrestleMania. It's a dream match. Of course that's a dream match. I would love to see that.
That'd be great.
I would love to see it. 4 horsewomen versus 4 horsewomen with Ronda and Becky in the Flair role, Charlotte, Shayna in the Barry Windham spot, and the other 4 in the Arn and Tully. Listen, I think that'll eventually happen.
Yeah.
They've been teasing it. It was supposed to happen at Survivor Series, and I think the other girls were not ready yet.
Aaron Neal, why is wrestling missing the charm it had in the 80s? I like the new stuff sometimes, but something is missing to me.
Because in the 80s, it was a live-action cartoon.
Absolutely.
And now it's more of a athletic competition.
Athletic drama.
Athletic drama, yeah. It really was a live-action cartoon. That's how they looked at it.
Whoa.
Look at the characters you had. You had a guy that loved freaking snakes and would travel with it. You had a giant...
Yellow man.
You had a crazy guy.
You had the Macho Man.
You had a Ultimate Warrior.
It's very charming.
It is very charming.
It's the best, and people believed it so hard. And to make MG Geek, that is a good point. There was a U.S. NJPW show last night, and nobody knew about it because of the government shutdown in the States. Most of the guys couldn't come over. And they didn't get their visas in time. So you had the American NJPW signings for the most part. I'm sure the show went well. Eric Pisano, do you like NXT filming multiple finishes to taped matches like they did this week to keep leaks from getting out? I didn't even know they did that.
What did they do? Yes, they did. They finished. They did 2 finishes. And by the way, I apologize. I upset a lot of people. I posted a spoiler that's maybe not a spoiler. So you guys overreacted. Now I'm taking back my apology. I forget it. I'm not apologizing anymore. I take it back.
Christopher, odds on a Hogan versus Braun for WrestleMania. 50-50 odds. I think Hogan comes out on Braun's shoulders.
Carry me home. Carry me home, brother.
And he calls him like, carry me home, my wayward son, brother.
They do a pose.
You're my son. Yeah.
I like when Hogan used to do his promos. He was like this.
Yeah. I think Hogan,
let me tell you something, brother.
Hogan's going to give Braun the ear thing.
Yeah.
He's going to pass the torch to him.
And that's going to be his Braun's thing?
Yeah, and then he's going to shave the top of his head.
Oh, love it. Love it. I watched the Scariest video, and I posted parts of it on our Twitter. It's behind the Great American Bash 88. Mm-hmm. And did you see the clips that I posted?
Oh, yeah.
Of
you texted all this stuff.
They're just being monsters. I got more of these clips. I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to post some more today.
Do you forget when you text me this stuff?
I do. Sometimes I forget.
I do.
Let's see. Ambrose leaving is a work, says Daniel. Mm-hmm. Let me scroll up if I missed anything. What legends could they possibly bring back to make viewership go up on SmackDown when Fox comes in? Because I feel that some legends are going to have to come back. Austin, Punk, Batista, but some names are realistic. I do think Batista. Well, here's another thing. So Triple H, I forgot to mention this. Triple H started working out on Tuesday.
Yeah.
He got cleared to start working out. So how many weeks does he have till WrestleMania? Let's see. He needs a good 6 weeks.
Yeah. I do think you're going to get Triple H Ambrose at WrestleMania.
So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We got 9 weeks. It is possible Triple H is going to make it in time for WrestleMania. I know that the match was going to be him and Batista. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's still part of it. I know Batista wants to do one last run.
I think it's going to be him and Ambrose.
Him and Ambrose.
Because just because of that promo,
Triple H and Ambrose?
You know?
I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. I do think Triple H and Randy Orton would be a good one, too. I would want to see that.
I don't want to see that.
I do. Flair on a pole match.
Triple H, Daniel Bryan. Again.
I don't know.
I'm inserting myself.
So Triple H is getting ready to come back. I as far as legends go, obviously you're going to have Austin on that first show. You're going to have everybody on that first show. You're going to have everybody on that first show.
Batista, I could see having a return. John Cena, obviously, like coming back. Because sometimes they do need Cena, and I think Cena would pop the ratings for Fox a little bit. Just because, like, I say what you want about the guy, but for some reason he is very beloved.
Can you see an angry Mojo character getting his big break? I think Mojo needs to leave.
Yeah.
And come back.
Like, go somewhere else. Do what they do in Japan. Do like a learning excursion.
Yeah, I think that would be the best thing for him because they have, sometimes they bring guys up just because they want to fill a spot and then they really don't know what to do with them. And it doesn't like No Way Jose could have been the greatest house show opener. Show opener.
Sure.
Comes out, does his gimmick, whatever, and then you're gone. Pumps people up.
That's it.
That's his role. And what they do nothing with him.
No. I feel like the Lucha House Party guys are kind of in that same boat, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Or it's like everybody likes to see them. And again, we always talk about this. The problem with the cruisers is they don't do any cruiser stuff. They just
Roman possibly returning for Fox.
Yeah.
Listen, Roman Reigns is a great example of they have an opportunity when he comes back. By the way, he's not doing bad.
Yeah.
He's filming with The Rock right now. They have an opportunity to have a guy be super over.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, unfortunately, though, he needs to come in when a guy that people like a real heel. He needs to go up against a real heel.
Yeah.
Not challenge Seth Rollins, not challenge Daniel Bryan. He needs to go up against somebody that people do not want to see.
Joe versus Joe.
I think he would get booed there.
Yeah.
I think they got to be very, very careful how he comes back because you don't get second chances.
Right.
Yeah. Like as far as character development, you don't get a second chance like this where unfortunately he how can you boo this guy? You can't.
Right.
He's fighting cancer. He has leukemia. Listen, leukemia is leukemia at the end of the day. Obviously, there's some better ways that you could, some different types of leukemia, but it's leukemia. He's fighting leukemia, overcomes it, comes back. Who's the a-hole that's going to boo him?
Right. I think obviously the way they're going to work it is he interrupts some kind of heel beatdown
and saves somebody.
And then you hear like the thunderous music.
Yeah. I think he needs new music.
Nah.
I think he needs like Sami Zayn music. He comes out to Sami Zayn
music.
Yeah, he comes out to ska music.
And another interesting, like you just made me think of this. Another interesting thing is like when these guys come back, like Sami and Kevin, where do they get placed?
That's a great question. Where does Sami and Kevin go?
Yeah, because I do think there's going to be like some
ready,
kind of
right?
shake-up. Yeah.
Sami's ready. I think he's coming after Mania, and then Kevin also, but I don't know. One of them is ready. One of them is almost ready.
I think Kevin Owens is ready.
Okay. Also, we were possibly going to see a Rock Reigns match. That was another thing we were going to possibly get. So that's gone. I do think for this Fox show, they're going to try everything to pump this rating up.
Yeah.
They're going to it's going to be a uphill battle. They're going to try something. I don't know what the end result is. Will we see phenomenal AJ Styles versus The Undertaker? If somebody can make The Undertaker look really good and mobile, will be AJ Styles.
Absolutely.
Because he's going to be a guy that you could toss around and do something great with. I don't know. I don't know what The Undertaker situation is. He's not in the lineup right now.
Right.
So maybe not. I don't know. Any more questions before we wrap it up? I think we'll wrap it up.
Yeah, let's wrap it up, baby.
Yeah, this is what we'll do. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. This was a lot of fun. As always, we're live on Thursday mornings at 10 o'clock, 10:30. Wow, we went like an hour and a half today.
Yeah.
Hour and a half today. A lot of news. A lot of long show, a lot of news. And obviously, subscribe to us. We're on YouTube. We're everywhere podcasts are available. iTunes, Stitcher, everywhere, whatever podcast platform you could think of. Go subscribe to us there on everything. Video, audio, everything. Especially here on YouTube. Obviously, you can follow me on Twitter at Andrew Zarian. You can follow Rich at BTC Rich. And, of course, Matt Men Podcast on Twitter. We have a Discord chat where we chat all day long with you guys. We have a great group of people in there, people hanging out all day long, talking, hanging out, chatting. You could go there. Also, you could go to our Facebook group. That's another place you could find us. And that's it for this week. We'll see you later. Take care.